Today, we're jumping into something called the art of being. We're going to explore how this ancient practice, meditation, is making a huge comeback as like an essential tool for navigating our modern, super noisy world.
So let me just ask you, do you ever feel completely, totally overwhelmed? Like you're being pulled in 1,000 different directions at once by just this constant flood of information and things you're supposed to be doing? If you're nodding along, trust me, you are not alone.
While I was putting this together, I read something that really just stuck with me. It described our minds today as battlegrounds of distraction. And wow, that's a pretty powerful way to put it, isn't it? It perfectly captures that inner chaos so many of us feel every single day. In that battle, well, it probably looks a lot like this, right? A nonstop stream of notifications pinging away, deadlines that are always looming, scary headlines popping up, and then just that low-level hum of anxiety underneath it all. It all just creates this feeling that we have to be on all the time. So what's the answer? How do we find any quiet in all that noise? Well, the path kind of starts with redefining what stillness even means. Because before we can really practice it, we have to get super clear on what meditation is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. Okay, so let's tackle the biggest myth right out of the gate. So many people think meditation is about trying to force your mind to go totally blank. Let me tell you, not only is that pretty much impossible, but trying to do it is just stressful. The reality is so much kinder. It's just about learning to notice what's going on in your head, your thoughts, your feelings, without getting totally carried away by them. So let's try a better definition. Think of meditation as the art of cultivating a special kind of awareness. It's about building this gentle, steady attention that actually lets you show up for your own life instead of being constantly distracted from it. And get this isn't just some ancient philosophy. Modern science is totally on board. Studies show that a regular practice can literally, physically reshape your brain. It strengthens the parts that handle focus and helps you manage your emotions. And it actually quiets down the amygdala. That's basically your brain's little red alarm system. So in other words, you start reacting less and responding more thoughtfully. All right, that all sounds good, but how do you actually start? Well, you don't need to go book a month-long silent retreat, I promise. It all begins with your first 5 minutes. So here's a super simple, no-nonsense guide to get you going. It really just boils down to 3 simple things. First, create your space. Doesn't have to be fancy, just find a quiet corner where you can have a few minutes to yourself. Second, find your posture. Sit on a chair, a cushion, whatever's comfortable. Just try to keep your back upright but relaxed. And third, and this is the big one, find your anchor. For this, you're just going to gently rest your attention on the physical feeling of your breath, wherever you notice it the most. Okay, so you're sitting, you're trying to focus on your breath, and then what happens? Your mind is suddenly making a grocery list or replaying a conversation from yesterday, right? Let's talk about that because learning to work with that wandering mind is the whole game. I want to be completely 100% clear on this next part. Your mind is going to wander. That is not you failing. It does not mean you're bad at meditation. It's literally just what minds are designed to do. I just love this line from the material I reviewed. This is not a failure, it is simply what minds do. It's so freeing, right? Just hearing that takes all the pressure off. It lets you approach this whole thing with a bit of kindness toward yourself. So the practice isn't about stopping your mind from wandering. It's all about the gentle act of returning. It's like a little bicep curl for your brain, seriously. Step 1, you just notice you've drifted off. Step 2, you gently acknowledge it, like, oh, thinking, without any judgment. And step 3, you just guide your attention right back to your breath. Every single time you do that, you're making that awareness muscle a little bit stronger. So you're doing these little mental workouts on the cushion for a few minutes. But what's the point? Well, this is where it gets really good, because the payoff goes way beyond those 5 minutes. Let's look at how this quiet practice actually shows up in your busy day-to-day life. Because here's the real magic. It doesn't stay on the cushion. The awareness you build in those quiet moments starts to spill over, seeping into everything else you do. It genuinely changes how you experience the world around you. And that can look like mindful eating, where for the first time in ages, you actually taste your food instead of just inhaling it. Or mindful walking, where you feel your feet on the ground. It can even be mindful listening, where you're really, truly hearing what someone is saying instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. Okay, so if you remember one thing from all this to help you get started, please let it be this. Consistency is so much more important than how long you do it. Seriously, doing it for a few minutes every day is way more powerful than doing it for an hour once a month.
And that brings us to this simple little number, 5. That's it. That's all it takes to get started. Just 5 minutes a day. It's a goal you can actually achieve, and it's enough to start fundamentally shifting your inner world and building a habit that could change your life. So, what have we learned? We've seen that meditation isn't about emptying your mind. It's about getting to know it. We've walked through the first few super simple steps to get you started, and we've seen how a small, consistent practice can totally transform our noisy, hectic lives. The journey inward is right there, waiting. So the only real question left is, are you ready to begin?